Hi, thank you so much for joining. This is Melissa from Beauté Sauvage. I have been loving the feedback on the celery juicing and detoxing. To hear people's little feedback, it's just been very entertaining. I'll say that much. Today's video is going to be two main parts. One is going to be your why. What is your motivating factor to consider doing this, to consider living a more chemical-free life, and to then incorporate celery juicing into your life. And then also, I'm going to talk more specifically about celery juicing and more on like a practical level, like what's like the execution like. So I'm going to start with my why. I am 38 and I lost my mom a few years back now to colon cancer. And that was really young, and she was 59, and she was fighting the colon cancer for a little over 3 years. Anyone that I've spoken with and has had experience with a loved one and has been around someone that had cancer with regards to the digestive system, we all kind of agree. Not that there's any cancer that's like easy to deal with, but to have slowly deterioration and not being able to digest food and just that whole decline of health and really dignity is not something that is fun. So that's a huge factor. And then also risk, it increases my risk. That's one. And two, I have a long history of diabetes. In the Latino community, these are real concerns. And then when you talk about colon cancer in women, that's something that is not talked about. It's not, nobody's wearing pink for colon cancer. That's what my mom would always say. It is definitely something that is not streamlined like there are some, ovarian and breast cancer. It's amazing, and there's been so many leaps and bounds what the healthcare system has done for women. And as soon as a woman is diagnosed, I've heard of these amazing stories of the treatment plan and the course of action is ready to go. It's just ready to go. Where the colon cancer, it was definitely not that case. It was definitely not the case. So that was a whole frustration in itself. But when we talk about Latinos and we talk about high vegetable diet and we mix in diabetes, this is not something that is a popular conversation over Ben meat on Christmas. This is not something that nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants to be like, Melissa, get you and your little bougie vegetables away from us. So that's a whole other video in itself. But back to my why. So these are two huge reasons, and it's really all my family history. It was never about losing any weight. It was never about my energy. It was never about clearer skin, though these are things that have definitely increased as far as my energy, my focus. I have lost weight, but celery juicing also, PS, is on the tail, it's kind of on the end, not the end, but it's a 1 or 2 pages in a really long journey of changing my lifestyle. So I don't really like to boast that as a benefit because it wasn't a motivator. And I take weight loss and what people are motivated with regards to that very seriously. I don't like to just say, oh, and lose weight too. Like it's not something that you can just jump into, and if you don't stick to, it's not worth it for all the effort. So celery juicing is really more, for me, was really more in addition to the change in my lifestyle. It wasn't a fad. It isn't a fad. I've been doing it since early December. I did it for 30 days, the first stretch. And then after that, I did it 5 to 6 days a week. And now pretty religiously, I do it 4 times a week. So that's my why in a nutshell. And then let's talk about celery juicing and like what's going to happen when you have a juicer or how it is that you get to the juice. Let's talk about it more on a practical level. Taste, bathroom, that kind of stuff. So let's spill the tea on that. I'm going to run down that real quick. First and foremost, you're going to need a juicer. Some people actually do chop it up and blend it and then strain it through a cheesecloth. 16 ounces, people do it. I don't understand that, but people do it. And that's totally cool. I have a juicer. Your best bet is to do your research, and there's so many reviews. I'm going to drop a link in the description and show you, and it's going to direct you to some of the top juicers that have been reviewed in 2018 into 2019. So a little tip for you, a little guide. You're going to need a juicer. You're going to need a bunch and a few stalks of celery every single day. So if you buy 5 bags, that's more than likely going to last you like 4 days, depending on the size of it. So just be aware of that. I highly recommend doing it into a Pyrex, into a measuring cup, because you think this huge bundle, you're going to cut off the end, you're going to cut off the edges. So once you actually juice it, it could come out to like 12. And the optimal amount is going to be 16 ounces. So just kind of keep that in mind. And not everybody has a huge fridge where they can store 7 days or, 7 to 8 bunches of celery. That would be like half of my fridge. So, just be practical and know I do food shopping every day, I feel like. So it was something that got me a little crazy towards the end of that 30 days. It was like, I feel like all I'm doing is going to ShopRite and getting celery juice. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, that it takes a lot to store it and it takes a lot to make 16 ounces. So make sure you measure it so that way definitely. You definitely want to do it straight. That is the best way to get the benefits. But a way that I was able to ease my way into it, because the first day I did it, I was like, oh, this is too much. This is too much. I was like, I'm not going to, this is nasty. So, a friend of mine had recommended doing half an apple with your 16 ounces. So 16 ounces of celery and then half an apple in addition to that. That made a humongous difference. Humongous difference. Like a half an apple made a humongous difference. You really want to omit the apple after a few days. Like, it's okay. You can do it. Put your big girl panties on and do it. Okay? Okay. It's just, it's the best way to get all of the benefits from the celery juicing. So, okay. So we got our juicer. We have our bunch and change. And then we have our apple, if we're including it. What else? After celery juicing, yes, it kind of tastes nasty. Something to help with the taste is removing the leaves. They say that helps with like the bitterness. I think it does make a difference. But honestly, at this point, I'm just drinking it. It's like a mind over matter. I know you're going to see a lot of selfies with like people in their little straw, like being like cute. Now, I would never recommend doing it with straw. I'm just chugging it. I'm not like taking an hour to drink it, like sipping it. No, I'm not doing that. I'm chugging it. Like, I've done enough Jaeger bombs. I could do. Happy St. Patty's Day. It's coming up. I can do it. So keep that in mind too. Like, and that's another big reason to know why. What is your why? Because if it's a short-term goal or a short-term why, that mind over matter is really going to be tough. But do you figure that out? So empty stomach, 16 ounces, a full bunch of a bag of celery and change, apple to help you ease into it, and what else? The poop. don't do this and then like take it on the road to like drink it on your way to work. Like the first few days, be homebound, don't plague yourself, because you'll be sitting there on the Palisades thinking you got a fart and you're gonna shit yourself. Okay? You're gonna shit yourself. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying I have, because if I did, I don't know if I would tell you, but I'm home. I knew. I've juiced before, and I knew. I was like, let me not play myself and sit here and be like, oh, let's just run and just drink my juice real quick, and then let's just go out and do... No. I'm up early, and I drink my juice, and then I wait, and then I have some, some water or some tea like a half hour or hour after that, and then I know what direction it's going to be going. Because the first couple days, it's to remove toxins. So the best way that your body is going to be removing toxins is right through your digestive system and expelling waste. I don't think you smell like celery. I don't think you sweat like and smell celery, but I don't know. Then again, everybody, there's just so much celery around this house. I really have no idea. So let me know if next time you see like, you smell like celery. There's a good chance. Something that's important is going to be to really increase your water intake. I am not a huge water drinker. I just forget. I forget, and then I forget. So until I'm like dying of thirst, and then I'm thinking, man, when was the last time I had something to drink? Because your body is going to be in like full detox mode, you're really going to want to help your liver and your lymphatic system. Really, it's going to be important to give it that extra power to expel all of these toxins that are sitting nice and cozy in our lymphatic system, our digestive system. So increase your water, or actually drink the recommended amount. What do they say? 10% of your body weight in ounces. So that would be 17 ounces, 17-ish. So that's a lot. Is it? I don't remember. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that thing. I will drop a correct calculation of how much water you should drink in the description. So increase your water intake. A lot of herbal teas help, because sometimes my stomach would be like a little wonky. So peppermint tea or peppermint is great for helping ease your stomach. There's so many teas that are great for that. Chamomile tea, peppermint. I can't think of anything right. If you can think of anything that tastes good right now, honey, raw honey is something that is good to help ease your stomach. You definitely want to be careful with your blood, your sugar levels and stuff like that. So just keep in mind that you want to have, up the fluids. So you're going to find yourself after like the 8th, 9th, and 10th day, you're going to find yourself, I hope, in a mindset of thinking, man, I got to start changing the way I'm eating, because you're going to see how it's going to come out the next day. Like if you eat like shit, that celery juice is going to kick you in your ass and be like, bitch, I told you we can't be eating this shit. The celery juice is going to remind you of that. So hopefully you start to tweak and notice some of the differences and start to kind of make little adjustments. I'm all about the little adjustments, because the smaller I make them, the longer that I stick with them. If I try to change everything, like I'm not a New Year's resolution person, but if I try to change everything all in one shot, it's just not going to stick. It's not going to stick. So people, be real about your why, and be home when you start to celery juice. That's all I got. That's like the best advice I could give you for this. It's gonna taste kind of nasty, but again, like think of the other shit that you've put into your mouth, like at some point in your life. Like there's been things that were way nastier. So, like do it for your body, because your body takes a lot of shit and keeps going. Takes a lot of shit and then makes a lot of shit. But seriously, like we just beat the crap out of ourselves. Like, come on, seriously. And it feels good too, because I talked about it in my last video. Red Bull tastes yummy. Wine is delicious. I'm not going to stop those things. So I'm going to just kind of try to keep a balance and try to, you know, it's all about balance. 80-20. There's these rules of 80-20. Like 80% good and then 20% is like not so good. So I live and die by the 80-20 rule. I know that this is like a rule. This is not a rule I made up myself. So I hope that you found this informative. If you have juice and you know about that juice and poop, drop a comment. I don't care. I got kids. This is what we do. We talk about poop. Tell me about your why. If it's something that you feel it's very personal, you can, you know, message me directly. I know some people are really focused on energy and fatigue. Like, just think about how much happier you would be if you had a little more energy that wasn't from caffeine. Because I can't drink caffeinated drinks. I get cranky. I get so edgy and so cranky. So I know when it's like a natural energy, when I actually like get maybe 6 hours of sleep and I've been consistently celery juicing and I'm watching what I'm eating, I'm like, yo, bring on the day. So think about your why, get some of the tools that you're going to need to properly celery juice, and tell me how it goes. Send me a picture. Let me know how it's going. Okay? So be well. Tune in next Friday. Turn your notifications on and stay tuned. All right? And talk to you later. All right. Bye.